I am here today to show you how to use our brand new tag trio of punches to make ribbon guides for your ribbon spools. So you can see here, they just attach to your spool, and then you just feed the ribbon through, and then as you need more ribbon, it just goes around. If you use too much, you can walk it back, so on and so forth. Now, I did see this on a from another Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and she had punches more like your traditional punches versus these. But I figured since these recently debuted, in fact, yesterday, from the new online exclusives, I thought that I would show you how to do these. Now, if you'd rather have punches, then I will include a link down below to the slot punch that you can get off of Amazon. And if you don't already have an 1/8 of an inch, this is probably one of my favorites for tying ribbon on tags. It doesn't leave a whole lot of extra space, you know, the hole that wasn't used. And then this one is going to be great if you have other businesses. Let's say if you make earrings or something, this is great to include on the top of your little piece where you either house the earrings, the necklace, anything like that, to house them on the little hooks. So for this purpose, we are going to be using these. And then also you'll have various ribbon spools. So where I'm going to try to give you two measurements, the wider the spool, you're going to have to just kind of play it by ear. Now, the demonstrator that showed this a week or so ago with the punches, not with these, she has a template, but I found that it was just easier, especially with all the varying widths of spools. It's just easier to kind of start with what you have and kind of go from there. But you can see this mess right here, and we're going to kind of calm that mess. Now, this is one of the new ribbons. It is the white. It's kind of got, if you watched my unboxing, you've seen it. It's kind of got a weave to it, but this is part of the botanical textured suite, but you can also purchase this a la carte. And on this one, I have two lengths. I have 4.5 inches and 5.5 inches. I found that the 5.5, I usually have to trim some off, but it's not truly a 5.25. So I'm leaving these at 5.5 and then trimming them. So this smaller spool, that means that you've only got one width of ribbon, is going to use the 4.5. And basically what you're going to do is I put one end right before that circle, and then I crease this over. And that is going to leave this little mark right there. And then what I am going to do is take a pen or a pencil, and I am just going to mark a slit in the middle of that. So you can see the score mark and the score mark. And I'm using scraps. So you'll see some other score marks here, but I just wanted to use scrap cardstock to do this. And then I am taking the slot punch. You're going to open the punch. And then I like to do it upside down, and then I am just going to center that mark, and that just kind of punches that out. You're also going to need some liquid adhesive. And then what we are going to do is we are going to feed this ribbon through here. Let me get this turned around right. To feed this ribbon. And you do not want to attach this cardstock to the spool itself. Everything is going to be the cardstock attached to the cardstock. And then all I did was take this piece and feed it through the circle, and then pull it pretty taut. And then we are going to apply some liquid adhesive and get that glued down. So what I usually do is I apply the bottom over here, and then on this side I apply the top. And that way I don't have to worry about it oozing out. Again, you do not want liquid adhesive on the spool itself, and that is going to allow you to walk this ribbon. You know, not have so much overhang. If it were adhered to this, you wouldn't be able to do that. And then as you use it, you just pull it forward. So let's try a different one. Let's try this one. This one is going to use the 1/8 inch. And so I am going to use the 4.5. Crease that really well. Take a pin. Just mark that center. And then come in with the 1/8. And find that dot and then punch that hole. Probably could have done a bigger hole on this one. If you have the Daffodil Delight, that was the perfect size for that. I'm going to feed this through. And like I said, I have that, and then I'm going to feed this through the opening. Again, apply adhesive to the bottom of this one and the top of this one. And then really adhere that. And again, these are great for scraps. And then you can just walk that out, cut it off. If you got too much, then you'll just walk it back, so on and so forth. So this is one that I used the 5.5, and so you can see that it needs to be trimmed. So I'm just going to trim that. I love this ribbon. It's kind of got a frayed edge to it. So cool. And then I wanted to try this one. Now this one is going to be a little bit, because it's got the pom-poms, I'm going to try this one that I think is going to allow for just a little bit of wiggle room. It's much wider than the slot. I've started off with 8 inches. We're going to see how that works. So I'm just going to do this, bring it across here. Make sure that is really creased. And then I'm just going to make a mark right here. As you can see, it does not have to be perfect. And then I'm going to punch right here. Going to feed this one through. And then go ahead and feed this end through here. And these are all 1/2 inch wide. I felt like that pretty much did it. I'm just going to trim some off there. Bottom, top. Sorry, I know y'all can't see it when I put it up against my... I'm kind of putting it up against my stomach just to kind of make sure it's taut. Hold that for a little bit. The more you use it, the better it'll get. I was kind of afraid of this not having enough room on the sides, you know, because if it gets too tight, it can definitely tear that cardstock, but it looks like it's going to work. So you'll just do it until you have, you know, the length that you want, trim it, and then you can always walk it back when you're done. So again, I will leave links down below to these cute little tag punches, as well as a link if you'd rather not have these. If you already have something similar to these, I'll leave a link down to the slot hole punch from Amazon.